We say water is life, but we often forget that the water cycle and the life cycle are one. How much do we actually know about water, and how much do we believe in the fact that water is our most abundant substance, that water is so entwined in us, we often forget it is there. From food to sanitation and maintaining our ecosystems around the world, water is our most essential need to survive. We know that we are in a global climate crisis, but globally, our waters are also threatened, and we are facing a global water crisis, or as Kava Medani calls it, a state of water bankruptcy. If we want to address these crises in our lifetime, we need to change and transform the way in which we value water and think about ways to protect and conserve our life-giving water resources. We often imagine that the world is filled with infinite water. In fact, it is not. This planet has very finite freshwater resources. It is estimated that by 2030, up to 700 million people could be displaced worldwide due to water scarcity. It is time to address this crisis. We must change, and we must do so now before it is too late. For without blue, there is no green. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Water for All session. My name is Shuka Bidarian, and I will be serving as the moderator of this session. We will start with a keynote speaker and a keynote speech, and we will move on to our incredible panel discussion. And at the end, we are going to have an exclusive interview, one of the world-leading water scientists. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage our keynote speaker, Sabine Stuiver, CMO and co-founder of Hydraloop Systems. Sabine, over to you.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much, Shuka, and thank you so much for that introduction. Very well said. You know, water is our most precious resource. We call it our blue gold, and it's the beginning of food and life itself. And may I just say, I'm so honored to be here today at ChangeNow to tell you more about our vision, it's actually a very simple solution. It is to use water twice. And you know that if we start to recycle at home, 250 billion liters of water can be recycled, reused, and saved every single day. That's an incredible amount. Now, many people on our planet are aware of the value of water. For example, the 2 billion people that already have no access to clean water. But also closer to home, Belgium, for example, is number 21 on the world list of driest countries. And often we think that these problems are far away, but they actually are much closer than most of us realize. And for some of us, it's still hard to comprehend that water is a finite resource, because when you open up the tap at home, water abundantly flows out at very little cost. Now, water may not be expensive yet, but it is very valuable. And water impacts everyone and everywhere. The water crisis is an increasing global risk, with 14 of the world's 20 megacities experiencing water scarcity or drought conditions. Water, in terms of impact, has been one of the top risks in the World Economic Forum Global Risks Report over the last 9 years. And the list of cities experiencing water crises continues to grow. Cities like London, Miami, Atlanta, and Los Angeles, to name a few, are all heading towards day zero, with the current average water use per day in developing countries being as high as 500 liters in some cities. A key action towards tackling the looming water crisis would be to reduce consumption, positively disrupt urban domestic water use, and facilitate circular economy solutions. Our world is still in the midst of the worst health emergency in over a century, but there is hope, because humanity is rising to the challenge. The global efforts against COVID-19, including the collaboration and innovation required to develop a vaccine in under a year, is evidence of what is possible when the world pulls together in the face of a common threat. We have learned what it means to pull together in the face of a truly global crisis. Now, let me tell you about the hydrologic cycle, which has been able to supply our world for billions of years with sufficient water supply. Water evaporates, forms clouds which travel, and the precipitation falls out of the clouds. 70% of that is lost in the seas, and only 30% falls on the land, where it will be captured in ice and snow caps, rivers, and where it will replenish aquifers and groundwater levels. But how much water is actually available? Well, to give you an idea of how much water is really available for us humans to use, here are some numbers. 97% of the Earth's water is found in the oceans, which is too salty for drinking or growing any crops. 3% of the Earth's water is fresh, and 2.5% of the Earth's fresh water is unavailable because it is locked up in glaciers, polar caps, atmosphere, is highly polluted, or it lies too far under the Earth's surface to be extracted at an affordable cost. 0.5% of the Earth's water is actually available fresh water. If the world's water supply were only 100 litres, our usable water supply of fresh water would be only half a teaspoon. Now, I'm sure that you have all read these kinds of headlines or experienced the very dry summers of the last couple of years. And as I said, the hydrologic cycle has been sufficient for billions of years, but it is already insufficient for growing demand. And climate change, population growth, sinking groundwater levels, and a population growth of 2 billion more people in the coming 30 years is only to seriously increase these problems. So we really must change things now, so that there will be water for future generations. And I'm really happy with the trends and visions of which I'd like to show you a few. The United Nations report that came out last World Water Day. Now, they are stating that by 2050, the global population will reach 9 billion people, 55% of which will be living in cities. Water demand will increase by 55% worldwide. As such, wasteful use of water should be avoided. Instead, water should be reused or transformed into energy and secondary materials following circular economy principles. Or the double peer-reviewed study by the University of Ghent advocating using extreme decentralization to create resilient urban water systems. This paper advocates a third complementary route, household-based personalized water systems. Or let's look at the European Green Deal, which is a set of policy initiatives by the European Commission with the overarching aim of making Europe climate neutral in 2050. And I'm very happy to mention that my speaking here today at ChangeNow has been chosen by the European Union as a partner event for the European Green Week. Or let's look at the new European Bauhaus, which is a growing community interested in building beautiful, sustainable, inclusive places to live together. And the 50 Litre Home Coalition, a daughter company of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, which is spearheaded by giants such as Procter & Gamble, NG, Electrolux and Kohler, to name a few, who we are in discussion with for collaboration at the moment, that advocate the new home design and the education of residents that could transform a typical 500 litre per day user to just 50 litres per day without significant sacrifice. So these were some of the international trends and visions. And you know, interestingly, everything about sustainability, circular economy, circular and smart cities, it's mainly been focused on carbon footprint reduction and solar energy. And somehow water reusing and recycling seems to be a forgotten subject. So let me tell you about our vision about the future. And talk about decentralized water recycling and creating a sustainable future with water for all by using water twice to lower your water consumption with 45% and retain comfort of living. Now, we can be so much more efficient in use of water. And we look at it like this. Every building has its own water source. And this is the lightly contaminated water from showers, baths, washing machines, hand basins, and condensation water from air conditioners and heat pumps. And normally, all this water goes down the drain. It all goes together with the black water and it's transported away. But if we collect it at the building on the spot, we clean and disinfect it, it can thereafter be reused for purposes that do not need any tap water quality, like toilet flushing or the washing machine, garden irrigation, vegetable garden, or swimming pool top-up. This way, you can save up to 45% on tap water and 45% on wastewater emission. So what would water recycling look like in an ordinary house? So here I've shown a little picture, and somewhere on the ground floor level, the water recycler would be placed, and the water from the shower and the bath would basically flow into the water recycler. And here the treatment takes place so that the water meets the highest international standards, and from there on, it is distributed to the toilets, the garden, and the washing machine, all fully automatic. So without noticing anything, you'll be saving water, energy, and money, and you're very, very sustainable. So what are the benefits of decentralized water recycling? Well, 45% savings on tap water consumption, 45% reduction in wastewater, 45% savings on your water and your wastewater bills, energy reduction in areas with cooler winter climates, carbon footprint reduction, and an increased property value as it complies with increasing regulations and sustainability requirements, and becoming more resilient and less dependent on the grid. But what will be the other options instead of water recycling? So what about rainwater? Many people ask us. Well, what about if there is no rainwater? And also we believe rainwater should be collected, but always reused outside the house, so it replenishes the groundwater levels. And what about desalination? Well, this is very highly polluting to our planet, and it's at a very high energy cost. So water recycling and using water twice inside the building makes sense, as it ticks all the boxes when it comes to the UN SDGs, low maintenance, small footprint, and being a home appliance. So I'd like to briefly show you our solutions that we have created for different purposes since 2018. So here you see the Hydraloop H300 for small families, and this is the 600 for larger families. And this is the Cascade for commercial use, so we can use it for hotels or sports clubs or airports or swimming pools. And this is the baby brother, the Hydraloop H150, which we are bringing out later this year, which will be for 2 to 3 person apartments concealed behind the wall. Now, we foresee that it's only a matter of time until all buildings will need to have decentralized water recycling systems stipulated by local governments and building codes. And therefore, we advocate that from now on, all new construction should be built future-proof and recycle-ready, because new buildings can easily be prepared for the installation of water recycling. It makes the building future-proof and sustainable. It costs very, very little money to do this, and the residents can determine the moment for installing a water recycling system. It is our vision that in 10 years' time, decentral water recyclers will have become a staple household consumer good, just like a fridge, air conditioner, or a washing machine. Now, to show you just a nice example, one of the many that we're doing, this is a beautiful smart city blueprint project in the Netherlands. All 41 homes are built future-proof, gas-free, energy from solar panels, and they're built with recycled building materials. And of course, all homes are recycle-ready and fitted with a water recycling system. Now here, just some images of some proud water recyclers, some of our many customers that we already have. And this is also a customer. This is high-end customers in the hospitality branch with luxury lodges in arid areas. Or, for example, a student flat in Belgium, where millions of liters of water are recycled every year. Now, of course, it's been quite a journey to get where we are now. And we are very proud of the recognition that we have been receiving, as you can see, the many awards, and that we contribute towards 4 of the UN SDGs. And we're also very proud that we feature in the Brave New World documentary on Netflix, starring Matt Damon and showing all the solutions that are out there in the world to tackle the worldwide water problem. So if you haven't seen it yet, please go and do so. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the solutions to tackle this global challenge. The only thing we need to do is to implement them and start using them right now. I'm inspired by the global movement of people for water and sustainability. I strongly believe in the power of individual action. It's very easy to think that the actions of 1 million one individual will not make a difference because you're just one person among millions. But it's small actions taken by millions of people that can really make a difference and create change. We're all in it together. I'm optimistic because I can see a path forwards to a beautiful and water-abundant future, and I'm excited to be a part of the solution. And I hope I've inspired you and that from now on you'll be wise and use water twice.
Water. The water we have today is the water we've always had. We all need water and can't live without. Every day we use water as it is a vital condition of life, but by 2040 most of the world will not have enough. Now, more than ever we know we must preserve our most precious resource, our blue gold. Our vision of the future? Use water twice. Hydraloop ensures perfect quality recycled water to substantially save on domestic water usage. We are the first to create turnkey products that empower people and organizations wherever they live with smart and affordable water recycling products without compromising on personal hygiene or quality of life, and seriously contributing to one of the greatest challenges of mankind, drastically reducing the use of water.
Wonderful. I like the slogan, be wise, use water twice, and the fact that other aspects of sustainability is included in this system, from reducing wastewater emissions to reducing carbon footprint and conserving energy. It has it all. Thank you, Sabine, for your time and incredible speech.
Thank you so much.